It's a Rocky Mountain High in Denver, Colorado. The Colorado Avalanche have won the Stanley Cup in a exciting 2-1 affair. We will break down the entire series, this incredible playoff year that had some surprises and not so surprises if you ask Ian Reed. Right now, this is Teal Town After Dark Stanley Cup Edition. Good evening, everyone. It is June 26, 2022, and the 2021-22 National Hockey League season is in the books. The Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup with a 2-1 win in Game 6 over the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Welcome to this special Stanley Cup Final edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live, interactive Stanley Cup Final post-game show. If you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. Of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, and find everything at tealtownusa.com. And with that, hello, I'm over here. Eric Curra with you. Hope you're having a great, it's a fifth day of summer, and the summer now officially begins for the entire National Hockey League as the Colorado Avalanche hoist the cup just a few minutes ago. Just going into an incredible year. I mean, I think their slogan for the playoffs was "Find a Way," and they found one. The frustration of 5 years ago, Jared Bednar comes in at the last minute to take over for Patrick Waugh, who quit on the Avalanche as head coach. 48 points. Nothing happening. They get everything. They improve. They try to get everything improved. Gabriel Landeskog, at the time, one of the youngest captains in the NHL at 19 years old when he was named captain. You had Nathan MacKinnon, who you knew back in the day was going to be a frickin' beast. And then the final piece, as Gabriel Landeskog said, find a Cale Makar. And he was fantastic in these playoffs. 29 points. in their Stanley Cup run. Hell, 16-4. The Colorado Avalanche were in the postseason. They only lost 4 games, 2 to the Blues, 2 to the Lightning. It goes to show you how dominant they were. And those other 2 series were sweeps. Yeah, one was against the Nashville Predators, and they didn't have UC Saros. The other one was against a good team that came out of nowhere with the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, you could say, well, they had Mike Smythe, but Mike Smythe did a heck of a job for them as well. But it is an incredible run. Darcy Kemper, they traded a first. They also now give up a 2024 third-round pick to the Desert Dogs. Oh, excuse me one moment. We said Desert Dogs, didn't we? Yeah, okay. There we go. And so, just looking at that and getting some more of the comments coming through here from Pierre Lebrun. Let's pull this up here. Pierre Lebrun, just getting a comment now from Sidney Crosby, just now on Nathan MacKinnon. Those two guys are really good buddies. A quote, "I'm really happy for Nate. I know how much it means to him and his family. I've seen how hard he worked to achieve this and glad that he's got rewarded and gets to experience everything that comes with winning. It's special." It's a special moment. And as I mentioned on our Twitter as we gift out the game, Andrew Cogliano, the Sharks acquired a 5th-round pick from Colorado for Cogs. You can't say he wasn't a big contributor to the series, because that was probably one of the last pieces they needed. And the Sharks management promised him if nothing's going their way, they'd find a contending home. Well, they found a perfect one for him. A 5th-round pick, well, that's for the Sharks to get to. And don't worry, folks, we will be getting to the draft in the very near future here on the YouTube channel. So please make sure you stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell as we go on the air. But Andrew Cogliano, scores the first goal for the Sharks this season. I think it was a shorthanded marker against Winnipeg on opening night to hoisting the Stanley Cup. So congratulations to former Shark Andrew Cogliano, who comes one of many who used to wear the teal and hoist the cup on this one. Nathan MacKinnon, only 2 goals in this playoff series, but he got that tying goal after Tampa Bay got things going with Steven Stamkos. And I thought Tampa really locked things down early on to really set the tone. And then Colorado started gaining momentum. And then once they got that goal, everything changed. Tampa Bay was upset that they had touched the puck on a delayed penalty call, and then next thing you know, Lehkonen, Arturi Lehkonen, he got the clinching goal to send the Montreal Canadiens to the Stanley Cup Final last year. He got the overtime winner to send the Colorado Avalanche to the Stanley Cup Final this year, and he gets the cup-winning goal in the second period. Yeah, we'll talk about Maroon having some getting away with a two-hander after that play, but all around, Colorado was built for this, and there were dark days. There were some dark days, like we said. Patrick Waugh quit on this team 6 years ago. Bednar came in with the coaching staff at the last minute, like just weeks before training camp in 2016-17. They were the worst team in the league. 22 wins, 48 points. It's something special. Getting this from Frank Saravelli via Hockey Jerk. Thank you, Hockey Jerk. Hope you're having a good night tonight. Cale Makar is the first unanimous winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy since the Professional Hockey Writers Association began revealing playoff MVP tabulations 5 seasons ago. Makar grabbed the first place vote from all 18 voters. It's something special. Makar was unreal. I think he's got the most points from a defenseman in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I want to say, at the very least, since Brian Leetch in 1994 when the Rangers won the Cup over Vancouver. You knew I was going to get that in there sometime. Come on now. But, just looking at it around, Nathan MacKinnon, 22 points. Cale Makar, 29 points. Darcy Kemper, as we said, found a way. Not exactly the best playoffs, but he got the job done. And, of course, he dealt with a couple of injuries along the way. And, of course, at this point, we'll end up finding out what the heck is going on with all these guys. And there's probably a boatload of them that are hurt, that sacrificed it. And then Colorado just dominated the third period. Like, seriously dominated. I think, Tampa Bay didn't have a shot on goal for like the first 10, 11 minutes of the third period. When you need to pour it on. An absolute great job defensively for the Colorado Avalanche to make things happen. Let's see here. They ended up Wow, Tampa Bay ended up having 4 shots on goal, but a total of 13 in the final 2 periods, which is exactly the same amount that Colorado had in just the second period alone. You know, so it's just unreal. Justin Randy, there you go. You know, Luis, congrats, Colorado Avalanche. Yep. Atlantical. It would take a miracle. It would take a miracle for the Sharks to be at this point right now. You know, I mean, obviously, for Corey Perry, okay, that'll get you to the Cup final, apparently. But you can't see that happening. But let's talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning and the hell of a run that they've had, you know, in these last 3 seasons. You know what? Let's go back to 2015. John Cooper has done an unbelievable job with this squad, and it's changed over the course of time. You know, 2015, they lost to Chicago in the Stanley Cup Final. 2016, they lost Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final to Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, who eventually beat the Sharks in the Cup Final. You know, nothing happened 2017. 2018, they lost in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final to the Washington Capitals, who eventually won the Stanley Cup. 2019, they were absolutely the most dominant team in the NHL, and then became the first President's Trophy team to get swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And who did they get in round 1 in 2020, beginning of the bubble? With no captain, they get the Columbus Blue Jackets. They play a 5 overtime game in the bubble, delaying another game for another night. Don't think that doesn't change anything here, folks. You know, don't think that doesn't change anything. If that game 1 goes to Columbus in the bubble, all the momentum was with Columbus. Who knows where the Tampa Bay Lightning would have been there? You know, John Tortorella said that he might have created a monster. He did, and John Cooper agreed with them. You know, and then Tampa Bay would go on a run to win that Stanley Cup in 2020. Then there were a lot of people, Damian Cox specifically, who said, "Oh, they didn't win a real cup." Shut up. That's why you're not in Sportsnet anymore, bro. They come back the next year and do it again, beating Montreal, who, let's be honest, really had no business being in this thing. But of course, Toronto being Toronto. They win their second cup. Barclay Goodrow goes from 5 years ago being assisting on the greatest goal in Barracuda history to a 2-time Stanley Cup champion who scored one of the greatest goals in Sharks history and goes off to the Rangers to win with a big deal. And you get to 2022. Oh, well, Tampa hasn't done anything in the full season. Really? Yeah, they had hiccups here and there. And yeah, outside Colorado, Toronto probably gave them the biggest run for their money. And look where they got. They got within 2 wins of a 3rd straight Stanley Cup in the salary cap era. Some people think, oh, that's not possible. It is possible. And that Eastern Conference was probably the toughest conference to go through. I think all 8 teams that qualified for the playoffs hit 100 points. My goodness. That's a tough route. That's a hell of a run. So 11 out of 12 playoff series victories in the last 3 years for the Tampa. You give stick taps to him. Andrei Vasilevsky, up until the Eastern Conference Final, hadn't lost back-to-back games, was dominant. I mean, he gave up 2 goals in an elimination game. Unreal. You know? And stick taps to him. So I know there's a lot of people thinking, okay, well, where am I going with this? Well, Colorado, with the great run led by Joe Sakic as their general manager, assistant general manager Chris McFarland. You also look at, Steve Yzerman was the main architect of this Tampa Bay Lightning squad. And stick taps to him, and good luck doing the same thing with Detroit. But Julien Brisebois takes over, gets the right pieces to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, and becomes within 2 games of winning a third. His assistant general manager, Matthew Darche. Former Shark, mind you. Former Worcester Shark captain, if I'm not mistaken. Now, there's some speculation as to who the Sharks general manager should be. Some people are even saying, heck, maybe we'll find out this week. Heck, maybe it's someone random. Heard Johan Garpenlov out of nowhere come in. We've heard Scott Nichols interviewed. Ray Whitney's interviewed. And it'd be great to hear who was interviewed, just to see the diversity of the candidate. Is it Kevin Weeks? Wait a minute. Sorry. What's up, hockey fans? It's Kevin Weeks here. Let's have him. If he's going to be the Sharks general manager, let's hope this is the tweet that we get from him saying it. We'll see. What I'm saying is, before we jump into it, talk to these guys. Talk to McFarland. Talk to Darche. They've been around the success and everything. Bring in a diverse group. Look what Vancouver has done. Bringing in, Emily Castonguay, Cami Granado, Jim Rutherford. Yes, he's just a director of hockey ops, and their GM is doing most of the calls. But bring in that diversity. That'd be great. That'd be absolutely great. And for the Sharks to finally put the footprint in the Bay Area, it'd be awesome. So, in the chat, before we get back to the playoffs, in the chat, let's see who would you like. And don't give me Patrick Marleau. Don't give me Joe Thornton. Those aren't happening. Let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic. And if you're not watching live, make a comment down below. See what you say. Talk about even how this season went for these two clubs that battled out for a Stanley Cup Final. And what a Stanley Cup Final it was. I mean, we had Game 1 where Colorado jumps out early. Tampa Bay makes it interesting. Burakovsky with the OT winner in Game 1. The next next game, Game 2, Colorado dominates a 7-0 shutout. Darcy Kemper looks like he's a real deal. Then Game 3 goes into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay flexes their muscle that they're not going to get swept out. After probably, Mark Messier said it on the ABC broadcast, one of the most dominant victories we've ever seen in Game 2. Tampa Bay comes back, perseveres, gives everybody a scary look in Game 3, winning 6-2. Then Game 4, and all the controversy behind that. Game 4 with the too many men. Hella dudes. Copyright Shalana Goldman. But guess what? Tampa Bay apparently had hella dudes too. Like, why not? I mean, why not? Why not? Just have everybody on the ice and let's just have total chaos. Only if Mike Emmerich is on there. And then Nazem Kadri. Of course it would be Nazem Kadri. It's a storybook ending. The guy actually gets through to the 4th round of the playoffs without getting suspended once. OT winner. Game 5 looked like it's going to be a coronation for Colorado. Tampa goes, no, not today. Comes back, fights hard to force Game 6. Honestly, they ran out of steam. And you can't blame them. From August of 2020 to late June 2022, in 24 months, they played three playoff runs. You played 138 regular season games on top of that in a tight schedule. In a very tight schedule. you praise them like you should. Absolutely. And then Colorado jumps on it second period after getting dominated early. I think the shots were like 6-2 early on in the first period of this game. Colorado can even barely get into their own offensive zone because Tampa Bay was dominating. And then they turned it on. And they win their third Stanley Cup. It is their third cup since relocating from Quebec. 96, their first year. 2001, of course, the Ray Bourque year that they hoist the cup. And now this year with this squad in 2022. So now, what next? While Colorado will be celebrating a championship with a parade, teams are going to start to get into work. And we'll start finding out everything. We already know for the Sharks that they will begin their 32nd season in the National Hockey League in Prague, October 7th and 8th against the Nashville Predators. It'll be something. The rest of the league is apparently starting on October 11th. So the Sharks and Predators will play back-to-back games and then head back over to North America. The other thing, too, is do they get in an Eastern Conference road trip on the way home? Makes you wonder. We'll find out, and usually we find out like a day or two before the draft, which would be next Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's usually AJ and I's favorite show to do, just to enjoy and talk about about all the road trips and what's the weird road trip that they're going to go through this year. Like, going to Chicago, going to the East Coast, then going to Dallas on a Saturday and fly up, vertically cross country to play Minnesota the next night. Or heck, let's go Florida on Friday night, play Carolina on a Sunday, and then Tampa on a Monday before the All-Star break. That's always the fun one to look at. So, and then the draft. The Sharks pick 11th overall. Should be an interesting draft to see. The other thing, too, as you head towards the season, the prize at hand in 2023 is Connor Bedard, who, even at his ripe young age of 16 years old, could be a megastar in the making. Could be even, dare I say, could he be even better than Connor McDavid? He is very highly touted there. It makes you wonder, I wouldn't mind the Sharks missing the playoffs for the fourth straight year. Can they afford to do that? I'm not so sure. You have the Niners, who are coming off an NFC Championship appearance. You have the Giants, who are in the thick of it in the playoff race. I'm sorry to the A's. I'm so sorry. I hope like heck you get that ballpark. And then the Warriors, the absolute amazement in the Bay Area. But do you lose a lot to maybe get a chance at the prize? Losing money and patience with your fans who have just dealt with a boatload of crap, who have seen LA win 2 cups, Anaheim win a cup, Vegas get close. You missed the playoffs. I mean, what's next? You would absolutely love it. if you can grab Connor Bedard on top of what you have with the core right now with William Eklund, Thomas Bordeleau, Tristan Robbins, Brandon Coe, Ben Goodrow on the way. It'll be an interesting year. The Sharks need to compete for the playoffs. We know that. But at the same time, should they be competing for Connor Bedard? It's a tough pill to swallow because I would like to have the best talent here in San Jose. And boy, howdy, do the Sharks need it badly. Pardon the water. Let's get to some of the comments in the chat. Earlier I asked you about GMs. Looking on here, and let's go through them. Shoeshine, I love Weeks personally. Lanical, we need Weeks. Al Martinet, sup, man? Good to see you, bud. Felix, I'm open to any, but I would love to see Weeks as GM. Marty T, wanting the Wizard. Ray Whitney, as much as I love the guy, is he ready for it? Who knows? That remains to be seen. And of course, Felix was saying for personality, anything else. Al wants status quo. Go with Joe Will. Shoeshine also adding, I would love also bringing Kendall Coyne Schofield in as an AGM and groom her up for a bigger role. She's got a great hockey mind. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. A diverse group, hockey management group would be great. The question is how many people will be in the Sharks brass a year from now. That's going to be interesting. So thank you for chatting with that. Let's get back to the Cup final here. Bruce Bob Trotter, Maroon, such a crybaby, pathetic, loses his temper and tries to injure another player with a sash. Should be suspended. Should have been a penalty. I mean, come on, how do you not call that? And for that matter, John Cooper, I don't know how many times he could get away with waiting till the very last minute. They're stalling for everything. I mean, what gives? How does he allow to do that? To just give so much time and then no, I guess not. Or yes, yeah, we need to challenge that. That's the last thing. That is the last thing that's the last thing anybody wants, is to not even have anything. Just think about having a coach look down, look at the TV screen by his feet, and hear the guy in the video, coach, challenge it. And you know what? As I say that, I should give a shout out to Brett Heimlich, the video coach for the Colorado Avalanche. He used to be with the Sharks, so congratulations to Brett and his wife, Amanda. Amanda used to run the Sharks store. Always cheerful, always said hello and everything. So congrats to them. They win, they are Stanley Cup champions. So I'm super thrilled for them. So everybody who went to the Sharks store saw her, someone that's going to get their name on the trophy. I mean, that's pretty good. Kevin, good bet. Thank you very much. Saying Kevin Weeks should be Sharks GM was like voting for Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor. Oh boy. Yes, but it would make for very interesting trades. And since we're mentioning Kevin, that means we can wear this.
We have a trade to announce.
Can't wait. And that's the rough part. We find out that Gary Bettman ended up getting COVID. And he was there for the State of the League address prior to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. So something happened in between there. So for the first time I believe the last time it was 1992 when NHL president John Ziegler, there was not a commissioner at the time, handed the trophy to Mario Lemieux as they won the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row. Ziegler would leave. They would name Gary Bettman commissioner on, I think it was February 1st, 93 was when he took over, and has presented the trophy ever since. So that probably threw the whole crowd on crazy. They're getting ready for booing. I mean, shoot. That's become Bettman's pride, and that's probably going to be rough. I mean, that's Bettman's moment. He's losing it, you know. And so, Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly hands it off to Gabriel Landeskog. Cale Makar with the Conn Smythe Trophy, winning the Norris and the Conn Smythe in the same year. That's unreal, you know. But you know what I want to do? You know what I want to do? Let's take a look at our predictions. And now I see why AJ wanted this up. AJ called Avalanche in 6. Kevin half wins with his pick. Ryan, aloha to you, sir. You got it off by one. Same with Mark. Al was the only one that didn't get it right. Of course, if you watched our preview show, Ian had the Avalanche in his bracket challenge, and I believe he only lost like 2 series in his bracket challenge. So, congrats to Ian. I don't think he wins anything, but you know, kudos to him for getting that right. No, dude, look at my bracket. Dude, I can't pull up the bracket right now. Kevin, you know what? Get on here. Can I kidnap you? Can I get you on here? Let me know. So, but heck, while we're doing that, what a playoff year. I mean, come on. What a playoff year. Toronto looked awesome, lost Game 7, gave Tampa everything they could in that series. Carolina was off and running. They just could not lose until Game 7. Oh, in 6. Thank you. All right. So here, Kevin has sent this to me. Sorry for the bad graphic here, but he called the Cup Final in 6. I swear you said half and half. I think you said Tampa was your preseason pick, but with the bracket challenge, you went with Colorado. I think that's why we had that up there. But you saw Edmonton win a playoff series after LA gave them hell for 7 games without Drew Doughty. And that's a great first step for LA to get back into it. Rob Lake, you got something special going on in LA. Marco Sturm, sadly, he's going to be the head coach of the Ontario Reign, and he's going to be a head coach in the NHL very, very soon. So, getting more pictures from there. You know, that's from Nazem Kadri having fun with the Stanley Cup. Sam and Nazem Kadri, as Chris Johnson is tweeting out here. Sorry, it's not like right up there and professional and everything. We apologize. This is all happening here. You know, Conn Smythe winner with Pierre LeBrun from TSN. Got that going on here. I'm on Skype. Cool. Hang on. let me get you on here. Let me put the graphic up here really quick. There we go. While I do my little magic here, folks. Hang on 1 second. Let's make this happen. Kevin's going to probably kill me. Ow. All right. Getting Kevin on now. All right. Waiting for Kevin to jump on here. Mr. Lacey, good evening. How are you, sir? Kevin? Uh-oh.
No, I'm here. I'm just getting situated.
You're good. I still have you listed as Ian Blogs Hockey. How are you, good sir?
All right. I'm doing better than the Tampa Bay Lightning are.
Oh! Damn.
I'll be here for the next little bit, providing endless zingers. I'm probably going to get in trouble being on this at some point here.
Uh-oh.
Hey, everybody. I'm good. That was a fun game to watch. Even though I was cheering for the Lightning, I said, what? I swear, Eric, I'm going to go back because I think I was on this show last year when Tampa Bay won, and I'm very certain that I said Avs over Tampa. So I need to pull up the footage.
We will begin the research after this broadcast.
Yes.
Overall, your take on the series and in the playoffs overall.
I think the series underwhelmed. Am I the only person who feels like that? I don't know if maybe it's just because it's like the potential. The potential of having one of the greatest series of most talented series of all time between the Avalanche and the Lightning. Basically, the current dynasty versus the future dynasty. Because let's face it, this is pretty cool seeing all the Avalanche now win the Stanley Cup. We're going to be so freaking tired in 3 years of seeing the Avs four-peat. Like, it's going to be obnoxious. Especially because then we're going to be hearing the whole, McDavid still doesn't have a cup and all that. Yeah. Anyway, I think the series was good, but again, I with the blowouts there in games 1 and 3, I think, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. I'm curious to know how you and how other people felt about that.
What, in the series? I mean, I thought it was a good series, but I think we went from having the potential of high-flying series in the first 3 games to screeching halt, neutral zone, trap this bitch.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, there's just something. I'm not sure what it was. A few of the Lightning players didn't seem like they were at 100%. I mean, they really made it this far on their experience and knowing the grind to 2 Stanley Cups. So the Avalanche were by far the more talented team, the younger team, the fresher team, and they had, even though they were the best team, I also thought they had one of the easiest paths to the Stanley Cup as well.
Well, you look at it, like I mentioned earlier, they were 16-4, including 2 sweeps. I mean, Nashville was easy peasy because no Saros to make it interesting there.
Yeah.
Edmonton was kind of a surprise to heck, I guess even make the 3rd round, let alone, make it interesting in the 2nd round for Colorado. But I thought it'd be crazy, But yeah, you're right. Was it an easy path or was it them dominating?
A little bit of both. I think they were going to be the cup. I mean, again, I picked them to win the Stanley Cup last year. I know I teeter-tottered there last year going into this season between Colorado and Tampa Bay, but Colorado's time was coming, and it's going to be here for a while, like I said. But they definitely have the roster to be able to dominate anyone they want. As you said, they dominated Nashville. They dominated Edmonton. I think I was really looking forward to a Colorado Minnesota series. So that was to me that was the true Western Conference final that we never got. And so with the Blues in there, I wasn't sweating the Blues at all. But I do, now I'm thinking about it though, I want to congratulate CC Hockley, the managing editor of Full Press Hockey there. Congrats on the Colorado Avalanche. That's the team that he covers, and so away you go there. But yeah, they were not going to be stopped.
No,
and I don't know who is going to be able to match up with them. I think the closest teams in the East right now, probably going to be Carolina and the Rangers, and they both need to take steps forward. But the Rangers are built the way the Avalanche are, in the sense of they've got a good mix of high caliber veteran players with high caliber young players and more young players to come. So I think that the Rangers, as they showed in this year's playoffs, are definitely ones to watch in the next few years. And the biggest credible threat to the Avalanche, because if it's not them and it's not Carolina, I don't know who it's going to be.
I don't know. And I'm as you were saying that, I was pulling up the odds that just came out. Avalanche are plus 500 to win the cup next year. Toronto behind them at 900. Panthers and Lightning and Golden Knights at plus 1,000.
That's the Bruce Cassidy effect.
Isn't
but the
it?
only thing to me, the Golden Knights, what roster are they going to field this season? Because they've had a different roster every single year in their existence.
And it's not like they are going to, find a way to. Sorry, Colorado, steal your slogan. But they always find a way to.
Come on! They stole Sharks territory. It's open game for stealing slogans when it comes to the Avalanche. So
that's true. But Vegas going, doing their thing. I wouldn't surprise me. But like you said, Bruce Cassidy effect. Sharks, by the way, plus 10,000. So if you want to go for the long shot, go for it. They're tied with the Ducks, Blue Jackets, and Kraken and Blackhawks. Let's put it this way, folks. Buffalo at plus 8,000. Vegas is already saying the Sabres have better odds to win the Stanley Cup over the San Jose Sharks.
Yikes. That's a little disappointing.
That's seriously concerning.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, that's apparently a thing.
But that's interesting. But let me get your take on that. I know you said, your comment about Kevin Weeks. Who should the Sharks? We've heard some speculation, but is there one candidate out in mind? I mean, like I said, to me, I would love either Chris McFarland or Matthew Darsh, the agents of these two teams. But
for me, and this is not downplaying your question, because I think it's a very valid question. This is just my honest opinion. I don't care who the Sharks general manager is until they do something wrong. Because I'm serious though, because general managers, it's like, it's so hard to know what you're going to get, especially when all these names are not familiar names. So we don't have a history to build off of and say, oh, well, this GM, their tendency is to do this. Or Paul Holmgren's plan is to just get aging players and then set the franchise back 15 years, like he did in Philadelphia, for example. So it really is hard to say. So, like, for me, like my Kevin Weeks comment about that's the same thing as voting Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor. you just put a guy with no experience at all in as the leader of your state or as the leader of the organization. That's a hard sell for me, and I wouldn't be thrilled with that. But again, can't prove that he can't do the job yet until he has the job. And so the names that you're mentioning, like Matthew Darche, for example, I think Matthew Darche is the most, I don't know if tenured or credible or whatever person is who's on the table here, just because at least he has been a name that's been bantered about for the last few years. Not just with the Sharks, but just in general upcoming GM conversations over the last few years. So that's one that I could see. But again, we don't have a track record to go off of. So that's where I come from, where I say I don't care, because it's just I don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah. And the Sharks are usually very quiet about everything. So we'll see how it goes. I'm interested to see, and I have to think they would probably have somebody in right before the draft, or at very least right before free agency.
I would really hope so. I would really hope that we're getting this announcement Tuesday, Wednesday. I've heard rumblings that they know who they want. So we just haven't had the announcement. I don't know if it's true. I just, again, what I've heard.
And of course, we've always heard that, they don't like to have a lot of other NHL news happen during the final. So now that the final is in the books here on Sunday, maybe that happens down the road. The other thing, too, is figuring out the whole Evander Kane situation, because you need to know what you can do in free agency. Granted, we've heard many people, I want to say you and Jerk on Teal Tinted, along with Ian, saying that, this free agency pool isn't exactly the best in the world. So maybe you don't have to worry about it too much.
That's where I want folks to give whoever the new GM is time to work, because it's not going to be a year-long fix. I feel like Doug Wilson got a bad rap, especially in 2014, when it was, you brought in John Scott and you brought in Hanzus. I think Hanzus was before that, but you bring in these guys, and who are these players? Those are the guys who wanted to come to San Jose. Sometimes you can't get everyone you want. It's not NHL 22. So give the new GM some time to look at the assets, look at what's available, and find out whether what's available is worth bringing in and turning the ship around. You're not going to get that response. You're not going to get those answers by October. So just give it time.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, it's going to take some time. It's going to take time to go through everything and go like, holy crap, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah.
Granted, the Sharks have a up and coming nucleus. There's still a lot of stuff to get through in here, though. I know we're excited to see what the new Lakuta are going to be like, and let's hope that they can start, building up their momentum.
Yeah. And even with the Barracuda, I think that the expectations right now are too high. I think we need to simmer this down, because yes, Robbins and Gustchen and Coe and Weissblatt and some others are coming in, but and basically revamping the top six, but we don't know how those players are going to transition to the pros. We think most of them are going to do well, but we don't know that. And there's no bottom six right now to complement those players. So I think the Barracuda are going to be a fun team to watch next year, especially with the new arena. I know I'm certainly looking forward to going to many games, if not all of them, and seeing them and everything. But nevertheless, we don't know what we're going to get. So again, let's temper the expectations here and have some fun with it,
Oh, that's the other thing, too. And you're getting a brand new building. you have it's kind of like speaking of slogans to steal from. Maybe the Cuda should steal from the Sharks from 1993. Welcome home to a new beginning.
There you go. I like it.
So we'll see. But there's so many questions around this organization. Who's going to be the GM? Is Bob Boughner safe? John McCarthy takes over the Barracuda. It's like, tell me you're refreshing and rebuilding without telling me you're refreshing and rebuilding. And the new GM will start essentially, with everything going on here. And I meant to ask this, a week ago when the Warriors won, but what are the things the Sharks can look at as they look at Colorado, as they look at Tampa Bay, as to how they get to that spot down the road? It's not going to happen this coming year. It's not going to happen the next year. What do you think?
I said it when I may not have said it on this show. I know I said it on Twitter somewhere. I think that Tomas Hertl's new contract is the gauge for where the Sharks expect the rebuild to be. Tomas Hertl got a new long-term deal where the first 3 years are no movement clause, if not no trade clause, but I think it's no movement clause. In any event, he's not getting waived. We don't need to worry about the non-trade aspects of that situation. But after 3 years, the Sharks should be back in contention. And if they're not, then more dominoes need to fall because they basically will need to start over on the rebuild, and that goes with Tomas Hertl right there. So right now, I think the Sharks' game plan is 3 years to get back into the playoffs, and obviously they're not going to say that publicly. You have to sell tickets, and we know the attendance woes that the team has experienced, COVID-19 related or not. But I think Tomas Hertl's contract was the statement about how long the rebuild will be, or the refresh, or the
reset,
or
the
re-aggravation, or the retry, or the replacements. Anyway,
right. I get what you're saying. Super chat from a $2 Canadian super chat. Hi from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, Kevin McKinnon. Any relation? We have to ask any relation. But
yes, actually, he is related to. Oh no. I thought you meant Kevin. Because we are all Kevin.
Oh, jeez, really? Wow, we are breaking out all the slogans today.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm sure Nova Scotia's happy tonight for one of their native sons, as Nathan McKinnon gets the first Stanley Cup and the third one for the Colorado Avalanche on this one.
I'm happy. I'm happy for McKinnon and Rantanen, Eric Johnson, Andrew Cogliano, of course. But Gabriel Landeskog for me, I was worried that because obviously Colorado is going to eventually have to find creative ways to get under the cap because they are so young and so good and going to be throwing out so much money at their players. And I feel like eventually Gabriel Landeskog is going to be a cap casualty of the Avalanche, even though he's been their longtime captain now. Became captain at 20 years old, which was forever ago. Right. But I'm so happy that they were able to win a cup under his reign because he's a fantastic player who doesn't get enough credit for both his work rate, his talent, and his leadership. And so really, really warms my heart. I mean, he had the tears streaming and everything. So you know how much this meant to him and all the players, obviously. But just I'm happy that he was able to lead them to a cup. I still think they got a couple more these next couple of years, to be honest. But He's able to be a part of this and also not be a part of this and then you're traded the next day to Minnesota or whatever,
Well, way to trigger back Devin Setoguchi trades. Jeez. So, yes. So with that, really quickly before we kind of start wrapping this up, unless there's anything else you wanted to tag along on, Sharks.
Yeah.
Go.
No, I just have a bunch of zingers, so
Okay.
go for it.
All right. Around a year ago, close to this time, you and I were, on here. You were at the Shark Tank waiting for the non-existent draft party.
Yes.
And it's still one of my favorite moments.
Mine too, buddy.
And I still say, wait a minute, you mean William Eklund hasn't been drafted? Well, what are you doing?
You might not. So for those of you who missed it, go back into the Teal Town USA archives on YouTube and on the website and find last year's draft, the live draft stream. Because if you ever want to get as honest of an opinion as you're ever going to get out of me, just watch me for those 10 minutes, me and Eric for those 10 minutes on that one, because I was coming home from work. I genuinely had no idea who had been taken, who was still available, all that stuff, but I knew about players. So my first question was William Eklund, and like you said there, what do you mean they didn't take William Eklund yet? Well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
So
that was a fun time. That was a fun time. I can't wait for someone else to do that again. I think Ian's going to do the draft coverage this year as I'm getting ready to head to England for something planned. And heck, I'm bringing my mic and my computer, so in case the Sharks wait till July 8th or to name a GM, I'll be ready to go just in case. But yeah, who do the Sharks go after? I mean, they went all forwards 2 years ago with Weisblatt leading the way. You have a number of places to go.
Here's what's dangerous about this year's draft, and I'm sure we'll get more into it during the draft coverage, but there's a lot of volatility to the rankings in this year's draft outside of the top few guys. Like, we know who the top two consensus rated forwards are, which are Shane Wright and Juraj Slavkovsky. And the top two then the two top defensemen consensus defensemen, who are David Jiricek and Simon Nemec. It might be Simon, but I believe it's Simon Nemec. And to kind of skirt around your question, I think the Sharks need what they can get. The Sharks need a bona fide star forward. They need a bona fide star defenseman. I don't know if either of those two defensemen, Jiricek or Nemec, make it down to 11th. Obviously, Wright and Slavkovsky certainly are not, but there are some other forwards around who are definitely worth taking. The problem is the players who were up near the top of the board back in September, a lot of them are in the mid-round, late first-round range. And even players who 2 months ago, who took over those top 5, top 10, and for our sake, the 11th spot, some of those players have now moved down just over 2 months. So it seems like there's a lot more talent here. There had been discussion about a big drop off after the top 10, and yay, the Sharks got the 11th pick. Go figure.
Way to get that last one against Chicago.
But the way that the volatility in these rankings has been, it says to me that the Sharks should be fine with where they're selecting, and some players are probably going to fall that we're not expecting to. So Lekkerimäki seems to be Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Swedish forward, seems to be the one who most Sharks fans that I've spoken with are excited over. I've seen him as high as 4 or 5, but I've seen him as low as 14, 15. And I think he's someone to consider. Definitely if he's still on the board. But I don't know, man. It's not going to be as easy as last year where I'm screaming, "Get Eklund! Get Eklund!"
Would you want to tank for Bedard?
Well, the short answer is yes. And the longer answer is it's harder to tank over 82 games than it is in, say, a 48-game season in 2013 when I was saying tank 48 games for, what do you know? Now Stanley Cup winner Nathan McKinnon. Wow. What a coincidence.
Of course.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm on that train. And if the reason why I say it's harder to tank over 82 game season is because you get obviously disgruntled fans. And if people aren't coming into the building anyway, from a business perspective, if people aren't coming into the building anyway, then sure, tank for Bedard. Why not? You know? Hopefully Bedard can lead the turnaround and bring fans more back in, everything like that. But obviously that's still a big gamble from a business perspective. Roster building wise, yes, absolutely. The Sharks, Weissblatt's nice. Gushchin might be nice. Merkley is getting better.
Yep.
But there is still no true bona fide franchise star prospect in this organization. And we're talking like someone who needs to be better than Hurdle, better than Couture. That's the type of player the Sharks need, and we don't have that yet.
And let's be honest here, better than Marleau.
Yeah, I guess at this point, because as great as Patrick Marleau was, Sharks didn't win a cup with him.
Yep.
Got close,
but
it didn't happen.
Yep. So with that, I think we will leave you here on this note. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Let's get to 2,700. SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, of course, always available at tealtownusa.com. So with that, let's see. Can I do some magic trickery here, or am I gonna just mess this up? Let's see. Oh yeah, the Stanley Cup Final is over, but it's now time for the Sharks to really get into work mode. I mean, So, Kevin Lacey, thank you as always, longtime friend. Appreciate you. Your final thoughts on where the people can find you.
The random riff that I want to say, and I put it out on Twitter a short time ago, is, man, compared to the last time Andrei Burakovsky skated around the rink with the Stanley Cup, what a letdown. At least it was PG-13 this time.
Hey-o!
So I'm at Kevin Lacey 22 on most social media platforms. I've been on the last episode of Teal Tinted Glasses, as well as 2 shows before that, and I try to make those as often as I can. I hope to be sniffing around the draft show, but with the 4 p.m. Pacific start time, that might be a little difficult. I might miss the Sharks pick by the time I get by the arena this time. But
I don't think you're feeling too well, Kevin. I think you're coming down with draftitis on July 7th.
You know what? Actually, the worst thing is I have to work in Oakland that day. So,
well, that's going to be a rough time to get you over to the Shark Tank to repeat last year. Damn it.
Yeah. I'll be live from the Oco Coliseum or whatever the heck it's called. I don't even know. Dubs on 7. Bah. Hey, at least Channel 7 didn't cut away from the from the Stanley Cup. Like, here comes Bill Daly with the Stanley Cup, but now Steph Curry's dinner for the next 20 minutes. Who cares? Anyway, for this fantastic sarcasm and more, follow me on Twitter at KevinLacey22.
All righty. That's Kevin. I'm Eric. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. When news breaks, we will bring it to you. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that notification bell that notifies you when we go on the air. And if you haven't put a thumbs up on this video, come on, let's at least get to 20 here, people. Come on now. So that's kind of where we're at right now. When news breaks, we'll bring it to you here on Teal Town, USA. Breaking things down. If we hear anything speculatory, we'll be on as well. So that's it for the 21-22 season. Now the offseason begins, and it's a quick offseason, folks. July 7th, we'll be on, we'll live stream up until the 11th pick for the Sharks. That night, we'll also recap round 1 of the draft. We will recap the Sharks picks the next night on July 8th. Free agency is July 13th. If the Sharks do anything, if they are able to do anything, we'll bring that to you live. Heck, hopefully we will be able to plan our lives for the next 12 months with the schedule show. And then, of course, don't forget, you have the prospect scrimmage coming up. As Ian Reed has put it, the fake World Juniors from Edmonton in August. Will Thomas Bordelot get to go there? And then September, the rookie tournament in San Jose at Tech CU Arena.
Oh yeah!
And then guess what? We're ready to roll as we start the 32nd season from Prague. So until next time. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and ticket packages for those of you unaware, because I've been talking with quite a few people after I put out my tweet yesterday. Ticket packages are available, but the Berlin Prague package is already sold out. It was Friday night. There were packages still available. That's sold out. Prague only now, but you can still wait list. And I do encourage you, if you're serious about going on this trip, put yourself on the wait list. Berlin's an amazing city, and Prague's pretty awesome too. So cool deal. So I want to throw that out there.
Yep. So until then, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you very, very soon.